As we have discussed earlier about the historical biogeography, today we are discussing about the ecological biogeography. And we have discussed in the earlier topics that ecological biodiversity, or ecological biogeography that was pertaining to the plants due to the different patterns in the fossil record as well as their distribution because they are sessile, they are not moving. So it was better, and the environment or the climate, they are much more effective on the plant as compared to the animals because animals are exotherms. So the Linnaeus, he had the simple observation and he recorded what type of environment each plant was found. So Linnaeus had very simplest observations, and then the Forster comes. We have discussed about that as well. Recognize the latitudinal gradients of diversity, Humboldt altitudinal gradients, and Kandel importance of competition in the plants. And then the ecological biodiversity was much more developed in the 20th century. It depended on rise of modern science with its techniques of experimental physiological studies. And its history was not complicated. What was the reason that the ecological biogeography was much more easier to study? That was because there was not any pressure on this science. This was about ecology. This was not about history. This was not about region of life. This was just that how life is present in different part of the world today. So this was rather easier because there is not any religious stigma to study that. There was not any opposition, and the evidence was readily available because in the fossil record you have less evidence, but here you have every type of evidence available. So the development was strongly dependent on increasing application of chemical and physical concept and techniques to the understanding of plant and animal function, hence the distribution. So we know that what are the structures and functions of different plants and animals and how they are distributed across the world. And all of these applications, which were chemical and physical, they led to the development of this ecological biogeography very strongly. So early botanists, they discussed about the distribution of plants that were closely linked to the climate. And to structure the results of this relationship, they focused either on the demands of environment, on the physiology of the plants, or on the type of vegetation that resulted. So if an organism, if a plant is living at one place, it is just because that environment is conducible to that plant. That's why it is living there, or uh, it's the plant's limitation, the geographical limitation is there. So all the early botanists were uh, working on the same lines. And then comes the Kendall in 1855. He gave the three physiological different type of plants that result from their adaptation to different levels of heat and moisture. The megatherms high, mesotherm moderate, and microtherms were low levels of heat and moisture loving plants. So that means the moisture and heat levels, how much they can live in, or that gave the three categories of different plants. And then there were two more categories, which are Hikistho thumbs that living in the polar region. So these are the plants which are present in the extreme cold environment. And then there are the xerophytes that tolerate the low levels of the moisture. Botanists soon also started to analyze the effects of the geology of the area in which the plants lived. For example, the soil. So the different type of soils are present in different areas, and how does that affect the distribution of plants, they studied as well. So E.W. Hilgard, an American scientist, how climate and plant life combine to gradually break down the native rock into smaller fragments and provide an increasing component of soil as a product of biological activity. So E.W. Hilgard, he talked about that, and he studied this aspect of the plant life. And then there is the Russian scientist V.V. Dukushev. He analyzed the mineralogical and physical attributes of the soils that resulted from the breakdown of the different type of rocks. And there was later an alternative focus, for example, the Angler's map, in which the geographical data was combined with the plant distribution data, as we have seen in the very early topics. And then they came to categorize the vegetation. The first and clear and simple system of categorizing of the different type of vegetation was produced by the German botanist Hermann Wagner and Emil von Sydow in 1888. And Clements and Shelford in 1916 were plant formation and or with the addition of its animal, a biome, right? So they devised a particular large geographical region in which a particular type of animal or a particular type of plant was dominant, and they gave it a name of biome. And the Tansley in 1935 added the climatic and soil aspect of the complex, calling it an ecosystem, which became the basic unit of ecology. So biome and ecology, they were given by the Clements and Shelford and Tansley respectively. So in this way, the scientists were working onto the ecological biogeography, and they gave new ideas which resulted into the advancement and the advancement in the ecological biogeography that we see today.